Download the free Gun Dealio app to your smartphone. Find out about the latest deals and news on guns and gear. Includes the latest Gun Talk podcast and Gun Talk videos. That's Gun Dealio on the App Store and Google Play.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, with a new president and CEO and a new home base coming soon to Wyoming, find out what the future holds for Weatherby. Plus, a former Navy SEAL turned first-time novelist and dissecting the future of the Second Amendment. Call in now with your comments, questions, and range reports to 866-TALK-GUN. And now, the star of the show, here's Tom Gresham.
Hey, I'm so glad that you could be with us today. I'm Tom Gresham. I am the host of Gun Talk. Yes, indeed. We're about 23 years. Yep. March, yes, 23 years on the air. Holy cow. Absolutely. Just turned 40, manner of speaking. We just hit 40,000 followers on Twitter. Thank you very much. It started it out. I didn't plan for it to be much of anything other than just a place to share some information now and then, and it's kind of taken off. And it's not a thing that I chase. I don't buy followers like some people do, and I know it's not a lot of numbers what it is compared to some celebrities out there, but that's 40,000 people who are getting good information about the Second Amendment and gun rights, and I appreciate that. If you're not there, by all means, follow me on Twitter. I am at Gun Talk. People say, I don't do Twitter. Well, then do it. Do you want to be informed, or would you rather be, the other one? I'm going to do a rant. I'm going to talk for a little while here. I hope you will stay with me for this. We will take questions and comments, and you can do your own personal rant if you'd like, in just a bit. But I get the floor because, hey, it's my show, right? Been around a long time. I've been doing this, writing about guns, covering gun rights for 50 years. Yeah, honestly, 50 years now. I was there when we debated what later became the Gun Control Act of 1968. It's through the lens of perspective that you have to have some time in grade, as they call it, to have some perspective of what's going on. You can't really understand what's going on in front of you many times unless you have some frame of reference, something to compare it to, something to say, oh yeah, that's like the other thing that happened, right? And so it's with that background, with that frame of reference, with that history, that I look at the events of yesterday around the country. Marches for gun control, or if you prefer, marches against civil rights. As far as I can figure, putting aside, of course, marches by the KKK, as far as I can figure, this is the first time we've had massive marches designed to strip Americans of some of their civil rights. Isn't that interesting? And wouldn't it be shocking for some of those marching if you presented it to them that way, to say, so you're marching to strip Americans of some of their civil rights, their constitutional rights? And I'm certain that some of them would think about it for a minute and kind of puzzle on it, and then they go, yeah, I'm okay with that. Of course, these are the same ones who are saying we have to do something about this. This is not right for our democracy. In which case you'd say, you really shouldn't have skipped class that day. It's not a democracy. It was never a democracy. It's not supposed to be a democracy. It's a republic. A democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. That's not what we have. We don't have the tyranny of the majority. In a republic, we balance it out. Those guys are pretty smart who put it all together. So what happened? That's really the question here. What just happened? If you did not watch any of it yesterday, if you did not watch any of the news last night, I would encourage you, I would urge you to go online and read and see and look at the videos to find out what happened, because something quite substantial just happened yesterday. Marches in Washington, marches in Boston, marches in Philly, marches all over the country with people yelling, pleading, crying for more repressive gun control laws. And yes, it is tempting and easy. And honestly, it would be good for talk radio. It'd be good for my show to sit here and tell you all the things that were wrong with what they said and how these kids are just so dumb and they don't even know what the laws are and yada, yada, yada. And that would be destructive to us because something significant just happened. We ignore it at our peril. And when I look at this moment in time, I am reminded of what it was like in the mid-'60s, leading up to the Gun Control Act of 1968, the most horrible repressive gun control law ever passed in the United States of America. And at that time, gun owners were ignoring it. And when it passed, just as is happening right now, many, if not most, gun owners sat up, their heads popped up, and said, well, what happened? Well, if we ignore yesterday, that is our fate again. What do they say? Those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. If we ignore this, if we marginalize it, if we pretend, which is the only way you can get there, if we pretend this was not important, we will at some point, many people will wake up and go, wow, how did they pass that? What just happened? How did they ban that? What do you mean? The assault weapons ban is back, and it's bigger and badder than ever, and there's no sunset provision, and it will never, ever go away, because that's what we're looking at. A lot of other gun laws, gun control laws, anti-gun rights laws. Make no mistake, the politicians will cave. The politicians will cave in the face of this if we don't offset it with our own actions. If we don't do something ourselves, and I will tell you straight up, and I'll talk about this in a minute, I'm not sure the NRA is up to this fight. I'm not sure. So the question then is going to become, what are we going to do? How are we going to respond? So what I want to talk about is what just happened. The impression that many people have, and I've learned a lot in the last few days about that, the impression that many people have about gun owners, about guns, and their absolute core belief, the things that they know to be true, and how they're wrong, factually incorrect. But you know what? As I've always said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we're right. It doesn't matter that they're wrong. It doesn't matter that what they're calling for is based on this foundation of sand and there's nothing to it, because they can still get done what they're trying to get done, even if it's based on bad information, even if it's based on a fallacy, even if it's based on a lie, which it is. They can still get it done. And us sitting here saying, no, you don't understand. You're not and trying to explain it, and being factually correct, and more people are killed by lightning, and yada, yada, yada. You might as well go out into a storm and scream into the wind for all the good it's going to do, because it's not helping. And everything changed yesterday. Let me just say this flat out. Everything changed in the gun rights world yesterday. To not understand that is to be willfully ignorant and to set the stage for massive losses of gun rights. Massive losses of gun rights. If you don't understand what just happened, if you think it wasn't important, then you're setting yourself up and all of us up for massive losses, massive infringements of our rights. I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I'm going to tell you what I think happened, what I think we need to do, and where a lot of the problem lies. Number here is 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham.
Tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. Since 1979, Surefire has designed, machined, and assembled the finest flashlights, weapon-mounted lights, hearing protection, and suppressors right here in the U.S. Surefire, offering a best-in-class warranty and customer service, and used by more military special operations, SWAT teams, and hard-use end users than any other brand. Surefire, American-built, American-strong. Visit surefire.com. That's surefire.com.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime. Setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at timneytriggers.com.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
It's really pretty simple. Your carry gun is a life-saving device. It must be with you. That's what the Springfield Armory XDS is all about. Small enough to carry, big enough to shoot comfortably, shockingly slim, single stack, with a 3.3-inch or 4-inch barrel, available in 9, 40, or 45. Highly accurate, great trigger, fiber optic front sight for fast aimed fire. The XDS at springfield-armory.com. That's springfield-armory.com.
I know there are a lot of you that would like to weigh in on this, but I've got a little bit more I need to say about this. Talking about the marches yesterday all over the country. These were not spontaneous, but at the same time, they weren't as orchestrated as you think. These young people did decide to do this. Now, they had help. They had a lot of financial help. How did that happen? Let's talk about that for a second. Well, here's how it happened. Some 5+ years ago, the Bloomberg money came through, $50 million. The NRA has field reps. And your field rep for your state probably covers 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even as many as 6 states. One person covering as many as 6 states. The Bloomberg team, they'll put 2, 3, 4, 6 people in a state there, to live there, to work there, to organize, to get it together, to have their teams ready to go. They have go teams ready for just such a thing as this. They did not have to build a structure. It was there. They had already built it. They'd spent the last several years and millions upon millions upon millions of dollars building the structure. Smart. So when these kids in Florida decided that they wanted to do something, they don't know anything about what the laws are. They just know they want to do something. Developmentally, you're at this age when you're starting to understand that you can affect things, you can do things, and all of a sudden they see that we have the power and the cameras will come, and without the Bloomberg-type money, it would have just stayed right there. But with the Bloomberg money, and with George Clooney giving $500,000 to this, and lending his PR firm to it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, then it just blows up. Money. I don't know where our billionaires are. I think they're hiding. They don't come out. They don't offer. They don't contribute. I don't see them. And by the way, if you are such a billionaire, call me and talk to me because, as I said before, I'm not sure the NRA is up to this task. I honestly don't. And look, I'm not on their Christmas list anyway, and I'm on the do not ever go on that show list with ILA. Okay, fair enough. But so much of their efforts, while they do a lot of good work, let me just say that, they do a lot of good work. Unfortunately, a lot of their efforts are how can we make money out of things? I'm not seeing that on the other side. They have the money. So what do we do? What do we do? Well, here's what we do. We get off our butts. We get off our butts. Well, I would go to the Capitol, but I have a job. I can't take the time off. Well, I would like to go teach people to shoot, but, I've got some other things going. We got to get off those butts. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine is in D.C. right now. He went there for the weekend. It's an interesting project. This group brought 20 people in, actually 21. Some pro-gun, some anti-gun, to have a conversation all day long, a facilitated conversation about guns. My buddy who's there is a competitive shooter, Camp Perry. He's trained a number of junior teams. He's had, I think, one or two of his junior shooters go on to the Olympics. Talked to him last night. He said, I told him all about my junior program and the kids were shooting, and we had people go to the Olympics and all that, and they all nod. Yeah, okay. He said, then later on in the evening, he says, I was talking to one of these guys from upstate New York, and he's, not a gun guy. He really hates guns, actually. He said, I asked him, I said, let me ask you a question. He said, yeah. He says, when I was describing the junior shooting program and my junior shooters, and the guy said, yeah. He says, in your mind, what gun did you see them shooting? He said, well, bolt-action rifle like they have for biathlon, or maybe the kind of specialized pistols they have in the Olympics. So my buddy pulls out his iPad and pulls up some photos and starts showing them. And all of the junior shooters, boys and girls, are all shooting ARs. It's what they shoot at Camp Perry. It's what they shoot for all their competitions. And what was interesting was this guy's reaction. He looked at them and saw these pictures, picture after picture after picture, and he said, I would never have believed that. Never in my wildest dreams would I have believed that. Would never have imagined that. Now take that in. Now, this is not a case where you say, well, yeah, they're just stupid. They just don't know. No. Back up. What that means is their core belief is that these regular old rifles, the things that you and I know to be just guns, their core belief in their heart of hearts is that these are never used for anything other than mass murder. We have to start from that place. How do we do that? We have to start talking to people and not calling them names. We have to talk to each other without calling each other names. I just put something on Twitter about, we have to get more people involved, on our side. And immediately people start saying, well, those FUDs, Elmer Fudd, we're talking about hunters. Those FUDs have to, say, well, yeah, that's always effective. If you want somebody to see your way on something, what you always want to do is start off by calling them names. Yeah, smart, good move. Yeah, that'll work. Goal is not to show that you're smart. The goal is to get them on your side, dummy. So how do we do that? We get off our butts. We have 100,000 women become firearms instructors. We have women's shooting leagues inviting all their friends out there. And they go, wow, I didn't realize this was this much fun. One after another, one after another. And that's all great, that's all wonderful, and that's all a bit longer term, but it's necessary. You have to change the way you live. You have to say, okay, I'm going to devote a day a week. I'm going to devote a day a month to this thing. And yes, it's different. And yes, it's inconvenient. And yes, it is absolutely freaking necessary. Because if you don't, I want you to look into your gun closet, in your gun safe, and say goodbye. Stuff is going to get passed. Take my word on this, write it down, stick it up on the refrigerator, and come back to it. If we don't get off our butts and do something, things are going to happen. Now, here's the other thing, short term. Right now, this coming week, in various state legislatures around the country, the gun banners are showing up. They are seeing, in some cases, a 10-fold increase in their turnout. Where they had 20 people show up last year, they're having 200 people show up this year to lobby their state legislators. Will we be there? More importantly, will you be there? Do you even know when it's going to be, when they're going to have the hearings, when they're going to be talking about these gun laws? Yeah, but I got a job. I can't drive across the state. Yeah, I know. I get it. I understand. But somebody's got to do it, and they will. So if you say, I can't do it, you're saying you guys win. I mean, it's really that simple. If we won't do it, what we're saying is we give. You guys win. It's okay. If we won't take a day off of work and drive to the state capitol to testify, to even if you just stand there, I don't know, wear a blaze orange hat, whatever it is, when they're having these hearings, when they're talking about this stuff, we got to be there. The world belongs to those who show up. I don't know how to say it any better than that. There are a lot of great groups out there, state organizations, Buckeye Firearms, okay, but in Ohio, Goal in Massachusetts. And even if you live in a state where you say it's a lost cause here, no, it's not. It's never a lost cause because they're going to try to take more from you. You think you've lost it all? Not even a chance. They want more. There is a state organization where you are. That state organization will tell you when these bills are coming up for a vote. And if they're smart, they have a plan. They know who the right legislators are to introduce bills. They know which ones it's worthless to say, well, this guy will introduce a bill for us, yeah, but he has no friends there. Nobody likes him in the legislature. So nobody's going to get behind it. Wrong guy. Just because he's willing doesn't mean he's effective. That's kind of inside baseball that you have to play. And that's what your state organization needs to be doing. So I guess my takeaway from this is look at what just happened, understand it, believe it. Believe it. It's real. It's not phony baloney stuff made up. It's not a media creation. This is real, and this will change things. Trust me on this. This has that feel. I'm just telling you, it really does. So we have to get off our butts, each one of us, you, me. We have to take more people shooting. We have to get involved, and we have to find some money, a lot of money. All right, when we come back, I want to talk about a gun company that just said, adios, California. We have had it with you. I understand that. That makes all the sense in the world. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham, back in a minute with more Gun Talk.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, time to talk about guns. You know, one of the things I've talked about is how much I enjoy the firearms industry itself, just as an industry. And there's some fascinating stories, but one of them, and I've talked about this a good bit in the past, is the multi-generational companies in the firearms business. And I think of, just right off the top of my head, let's say third-generation companies, Hornady, Brownells, Noslers, Greshams for that matter. And joining me right now is another third-generationer, if you will. Adam Weatherby is the president and CEO of Weatherby, of course, the famous company started by his grandfather, Roy, and then, of course, run by his dad. Adam, thank you so much.
Hey, good morning, Tom. How you doing? Or good afternoon.
That's exactly. So obviously Weatherby been around, well, since the mid-40s, something like that, as I know only too well, having written the book about Weatherby. But great company, been around forever, but it's always been a California-based company, hasn't it?
Correct. My grandfather started it in 1945. As you well know, I wrote that book with your dad down in Southern California, but it's a bit different than it was back in the 40s, Tom.
Yeah, well, you just announced recently that it's kind of one of those adios California deals, hello to Wyoming. What happened? How did that come about?
Yeah, you bet. I mean, as you know, with our business and being out here in California, there's kind of ongoing, struggles and different things. So we've been looking for years at moving to another Western state and started to, kind of narrow ourselves down, kind of state after state, and got all the way down to really a couple of years ago. We met with Governor Matt Mead, the governor of Wyoming, at SHOT Show, and so he and his team of people at the Wyoming Business Council just made Wyoming look appealing in so many ways, from their their tax climate, their business climate, and ultimately really the way they uphold the Second Amendment. And so we're moving to Sheridan, Wyoming at the foot of the Bighorn Mountains, and just absolutely thrilled about the move.
Well, I have been to Sheridan a few times. I've hunted in the Bighorns, and since you've been out there enough, you know just how stunning that place is. It's gorgeous. Congratulations to Weatherby, but also congratulations to Sheridan, because that's going to be, I think it's going to be a great fit for the two of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's right below the Montana border there, but with the Bighorns right back there, we just feel it fits our culture, Tom, where it's, the access to the outdoors. Of course, as a resident, I'll be able to get myself some nice tags every year.
Oh, okay. Now we finally found out what the real reason is.
Right. We're definitely going to be doing a lot of hunting, and would love to invite you to come out there and visit us in our new facility. We're building a brand new facility on the north part of Sheridan there. I myself will be moving here probably in June, July, and our corporate offices are going to relocate up there this summer. Our manufacturing and distribution will maintain here in California until our final facility is done, which is slated to come online March or April of next year of 19, about a year away. So once we get that new facility up and going, we'd love to have you out.
Sure. Well, I'm looking at your website here, and one of the things that caught my attention is you got the announcement of the move, but also it looks like you're going to need to be hiring some people.
Correct. People say, hey, what are you going to miss? And a lot of people bash on California. Now, where we're at here on the central coast of California is a beautiful area. And, of course, we got, great weather. And but on top of that, it's the people. And that's going to be the hardest thing. We're moving out there. And unfortunately, it's a big move for a lot of people. And not everybody is able to come with us for, whatever it might be, family reasons or this or that. So we are in the process right now of, going through applicants and kind of hiring a lot of fresh new people, although some will be coming with us. We'll be looking for a lot of great talented people to work for Weatherby there in Sheridan.
Cool. I'm just looking here. It looks like sales, marketing, product management, manufacturing and engineering, finance, operations. So you got a lot of slots to fill. And for people, if they are interested, they can just go to your website, theweatherby.com.
Yep. Absolutely, and there's a job section on there. I think you got it up and going there, and I'll kind of show you what's up, and they can do that. And for those that don't end up coming to work for us, once our new facility's up and going, we'll have a nice showroom and kind of beautiful lobby. We're trying to, in fact, right now my wife's going through pallet after pallet of history of that we have going. Oh my gosh, Friday she came across a letter from Reagan to my grandfather in 1985, congratulating us on 40 years, and it was just. We have so much great stuff, and I know you know that, having captured a lot of the history there in that biography on my grandfather. I think came out in 1989, something like that.
I think that's right. And I got to tell you, your granddad was great at retaining information, so that we had a lot to work with. That's the good news, but in your case, it also is the bad news, because you have basically a museum's worth of stuff.
We do, and we're not in the business of running a museum. We're in the business of manufacturing, marketing, and selling, firearms and ammunition.
Right.
But at the same time, we don't want to throw away good history. But as you know, literally, my wife the other day goes, man, he's got every memo, every financial statement, every little piece. And so it's kind of fun, though. We're having a good time going through stuff.
Absolutely. Well, of course, Weatherby has a great history, and a lot of it's captured, at least up to that point in the book. But you can find out more about it on the website. I tell you what, tell people just the quick one. If you said, here's 2 things we've done recently in the way of products that people may not know about, lay it on them.
Sure. No, absolutely. The couple biggest things in the last couple of years, if I were to say that, would be our newest caliber, because whenever we come out with a new cartridge, ever since my grandpa started there in the 40s, people listened. And so we came out with the 6.5 300 Weatherby, which is kind of the fastest moving 6.5 on the planet, pushing a 127 grain bullet at over 3,500 feet per second. So that's got a lot of people talking. And then second to that is really what has a lot of people talking is our new kind of women's line of rifles. And we named it after Camilla, my grandmother. And so we have now a Mark V Camilla and a Vanguard Camilla. And we say it was designed by women, made by Weatherby, and my wife and kind of a team of professional shooters and hunter women helped come up with that line. And so the Camilla has really been taken off and exceeding our expectations. And as you know from the history, when my grandpa and grandma moved out from Kansas to California, one of the things to help fund the business is she sold her section of the family farm in Kansas. And so we thought we would name the first women's line of rifles after the first lady of Weatherby. So a bit of history there, but the Camilla and the 6.5300, those are two things that people have been talking about quite a bit lately.
Once again, just pointing out, you're a solid family, good people. I was fortunate enough to know Roy, and of course know Ed, your dad, and now know you. And the fact that you would name one of the product lines after your grandmother, that's just pretty cool, Alan. I wish you all the best with the move and the future of the company, man.
Well, thanks so much, Tom. And it's always great running into you at industry, shows and different things. Look forward to seeing you again, and drop by Wyoming once we get there, would you?
You can't keep me away, man. I love Wyoming. Adam Weatherby, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All righty. Our number here is 866-TALK-GUN. By the way, if you want to see what they're talking about, or if you want to see what jobs they have open, take a look. Weatherby.com. 866-TALK-GUN. Now we're open lines for you.
Laser sights enhance and maintain your accuracy in a time of crisis. Whether you're unbalanced, evading a threat, or engaging from behind cover, a laser sight aids in keeping you on target. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our laser training video, The Laser's Edge, and learn more about why Crimson Trace is making laser sights standard equipment.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
It's America's favorite .22 rifle. No matter how, where, or what you like to shoot, there's a Ruger 1022 for you. From the carbine to the incredible takedown models, the tactical and target versions, all Ruger 1022 models have the legendary action and detachable 10-round rotary magazine. Whether you're hunting squirrels or tin cans, there's a lifetime of fun in every Ruger 1022 rifle. See them all at Ruger.com. That's Ruger.com.
You may have heard that some students who believe in the Second Amendment, who support the Second Amendment, actually were getting in trouble either for having their own little demonstration or not participating in the anti-gun, the gun ban demonstrations. The Second Amendment Foundation announced a project to help students who have been harassed, intimidated, or bullied for resisting peer pressure to join in the wave of protest against guns. Alec Gottlieb says a student's First Amendment rights should not be violated because they support the Second Amendment. He said there have been several reports over the past couple of weeks of students who have been harassed or encountered other problems from students, teachers, or administrators. They set up a toll-free number. If you know somebody who has had that happen to them, a student, they can call the Second Amendment Foundation. The number is 800-426-4302. Again, 800-426-4302. I'm going to give it out one more time. 800-426-4302. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. Going to the phones. Line 2, Bob's with us out of Madison County, Florida. Bob, thank you so much for your patience.
Oh, thank you. I love your show. I mean, this show right here may be one of the most important shows you've ever had. I'm just excited to be able to get in here and just share a couple things.
Sure.
When you said about the NRA was excellent. I was at a meeting in Palm Beach County one time, and I stood up and I said, "Why is the NRA?" It was an NRA meeting. I go, "Why is the NRA?" It never had an all call where they say, "Hey, go to your state capital, everybody," and not make it mandatory, but as close as you can to mandatory because it's a free country. And I didn't really get an answer until I walked back and sat down, and some guy leaned over and whispered in my ear. He goes, "Because there's no profit in victory." Now I hope that's not the case, but it made me think. And the other thing I like to talk about is what I call Generation I, and I'm probably being a lot rougher on this generation than what you are. What I see here in this generation is a generation, probably one of the first, that has en masse begun to protest their own constitutional rights. The Second Amendment and even the First Amendment I see them protesting. And I just can't, I homeschooled. So, I taught my kids early on, what the Constitution stands for, what the Founding Fathers were all about, as far as what you said earlier about getting active, I think I'm going to push it even more. I'm going to go down and find some I know the local population, young folks here in the country, in Madison County where I live, and I'm going to ask them to go into their school, since they go to that school, and start speaking up. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But anyway, those are pretty much my comments.
You have to give them some information. You got to give them the intellectual ammunition to use, so they're not just repeating the same old dumb things that we keep saying. And honestly, a lot of the stuff we say is accurate, but it's just dumb. Or more people are killed with lightning by okay, great, who cares? It doesn't matter. More people are killed by drunk drivers. Yes, that's true. Doesn't matter. Now, we have to find the arguments that actually work. Things like people who have been saved by people with guns. But, honestly, a lot of what our baseline problem is, and I want to bounce this off of you, Bob, our baseline problem is they don't know us, they don't trust us, and they don't believe us. And so when we say we use AR-15s for hunting, they think we're lying. When we say half the people buying handguns, their first handgun, are women for self-defense, they think we're lying. They simply don't believe the words that we're saying. And so how do you fight that? Well, you show them. You can tell all you want to, but showing is effective. So we need to be getting on local TV with young mothers who are getting training in self-defense, where they're saying things like, "I am my children's first responder." Okay? Kids need to be talking about that in school. Well, it's great when the police can be here, but until they are, what are we going to do? It's that old thing I've made up where I say, a self-defense gun is like a fire extinguisher. It is to help you control the situation until help arrives. I'm not saying I'm going to be able to take care of everything with it, either a fire extinguisher or a self-defense gun, but it gives me a fighting chance. It gives me a chance to push back, to hold back the problem, to maybe contain the problem until the good guys show up, whether it's with a fire truck or it's the SWAT team. Either way, we want to stop the damage, stop the burning, stop the dying until we can get some help. When we use an analogy like that, people get it and we start to win. It's interesting. I'm seeing reports all over the country of firearms instructors, gun shooting ranges offering free firearms training to teachers, educators, administrators. I see that Gunsight, I think I mentioned this before, Gunsight, the famous shooting academy out in California, or in Arizona, California, you're right, like that's going to happen, is offering their big 250 pistol class. It's a 5-day class, free to school superintendents, assistant superintendents, and school board presidents, trying to get the real decision makers out there. All right, back with you. The glitches are out there. They're grabbing us now and then. 866-TALK-GUN is the number here. As we look at the marches of yesterday, as I say, I think it's a game changer. I think it's different. Everything from this point forward will be different. And the only question is, are we ready? Are we willing? We cannot, let me repeat that, we cannot keep doing what we've been doing before. We will lose. We will lose our rights. A lot of people want to take away our rights. And all we have to do to let them take our rights is to do exactly what we've been doing before. Well, I belong to the NRA. Great. All right. But have you gotten off your butt? The butts where you say, but I got a job. I can't go to the state capitol, but I have a life. Okay. But I don't have much money. Okay. You got $10, you got $20, got $100. It's going to take that. It's going to take that times 10 million of us to get this done. It really is that simple. It really is that important. It really is that drastic. And it really is that dire. I'm not making this up. I'm not